Yo, what is going on, guys? Fatal here with some fresh Gears of War content for you guys today. Today we are introducing new weapons as well as new enemies of the Swarm, the primary antagonist in Gears of War 4. New weapons introduced into Gears of War 4 range from the Buzzkill to the Drop Shot as well as the Combat Knife, which we are already aware of. The Drop Shot functions somewhat as a replacement for the Digger Launcher from Gears of War 3, which fired explosive creatures underground. Instead, the drop shot fires an aerial mine that floats over the battlefield in a straight line as long as you hold the trigger. The moment you let go, the mine spins downward violently. If it hits the ground, it drills for a second before exploding, blowing anything nearby into chunks. If you manage to nail a direct hit on the enemy, it drills the enemy directly in their head, decapitating them while their body convulses until the mine explodes. It's a gruesome display that fits alongside the Gear's best weaponry, and it's also super challenging to control, making you feel like a champion whenever you score a direct hit. Following the drop shot, we have the Buzzkill. The Buzzkill fires buzzsaws, and a lot of them at that. They spew everywhere as long as you hold down the fire trigger. However, these saws don't become embedded in walls. They bounce, ricocheting off surfaces and tearing enemies to shreds. This making the buzzsaw an excellent weapon for room clearing. However, if you do not watch your own head, you just might take your own head off. And finally, we have the Combat Knife. The Combat Knife is typically used after you perform a vault kick, which was introduced recently as the replacement for the mantle kick from Gears of War 3. This knife will also bring in an array of new executions as well as use in multiplayer. On top of that, every faction has a different knife. Finally, we have the introduction to several new enemies in the Swarm. These consist of the Imago, Grenadier, Sniper, as well as the Hunter, all very much familiar to enemies of the Locust Horde. While the primary enemy, not being in any of these pictures, will be drones. These drones will be most familiar of the Swarm enemy types, with them resembling various modified Locust soldiers. Up next, we have the Juvies. These look very much like the Wretches from the previous Gears of War titles. However, Juvies are much faster, harder to hit, and also have a deadly ability. During the game, you'll come across gooey pods that can serve as a temporary cover until a stream of bullets pop them. Sometimes a drone or a Juvie will be inside. Certain Juvies can unleash a blood-curdling scream that will pop all the pods in the nearby vicinity, potentially flooding your combat zone with much more enemies. Where Wretches never really succeeded as being anything other than mild annoyances, Juvies' deadly capabilities could make them into something far more terrifying, with this hinting at the fact that Juvies have the ability to transform. Finally, we have the Pouncer, which was introduced to us at the end of the E3 demo. These giant naked mole rat looking beasts are not only capable of pinning you to the ground and viciously mauling you, but they also carry deadly quills in their tails that they can whip at you as projectiles. However, the cautious or reflex skilled player will be able to take these monsters down, such as during the E3 demo towards the end where JD cuts a Pouncer in half as it charges him. So that is it, guys. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the new weapons as well as the newly introduced characters, sort of, considering they're basically just spin-offs of the Locust, just modified into the Swarm now. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for a bunch of future Gears of War 4 content. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.